Hey, how's it going? Coach Kyle here, and I had one of my clients. We were kind of discussing mental health, during a little period of rest, and how running can be so helpful for people to, uh, give them a stress relief. Just a 30-minute run, a 60-minute run makes the entire, the other 23 hours of the day better. And if you're taking a period of rest due to illness, injury, whatever, um, you're not just not running, you're also missing out on your stress relief. And we were talking about this, and she said, I told her, like, I get it. What did I say? She said, unfortunately, let's see, not running and personal issues don't make for a good mental health. And I said, yeah, I totally get it. I used to be an obese, I was 230 pounds as a young teenager, and I lost that, most of it during high school as well. And, I suffered from overeating, binging, purging, and she said, really, you should talk about it. I didn't know. I don't know if you already did, but that is a real aspiration, and to hear your story would be amazing. You're the type of athlete I aspire to be. She says, yes, food is my go-to, and I used to be overweight. Sometimes those old behaviors come back. Running is so vital to my mental health, and I really struggle and lose confidence. When not running. So she asked about my history with mental health, and I've not really talked about that very very often. So here goes. so uh, in grade school, I was super active. I played soccer, touch for flag football, basketball, baseball, etc. Uh, Snowmobile during the winters. And then I was in a car accident. It was super early in the morning. I was one of the first people to be picked up on the school bus. And I was sitting at the very back of the bus because that's the best place to sit. But we were coming to a stop, or we were slowing down to take a hard left turn on a 65 mile per hour road. And it was foggy, I think, and a car rear-ended us. So basically they rear-ended, and they were slowing. They weren't going 60 miles an hour when they hit us, but they hit right behind me, and I slammed forward because for some reason on school buses you don't buckle up, and I slammed forward and I hit the seat in front of me, and I think I was in middle school. It's been a long time, but I think I was in middle school when, like, seventh grade maybe, when that happened. And so I went from being super active, like I felt like I was one of the best football players, recess football players, in the school. And I hated running though, and I went from being super active to having this back pain that caused me to go basically to complete inactivity. I was nearly in constant pain or discomfort all the time for a while, and it got to the point where my life went from being normal, good, happy, healthy, to being inactive and being in discomfort all the time. So not only did I become inactive, but my mental health suffered as well. And eventually it became my new norm, I suppose. And it was hard because you still have to take gym class, even if you're hurt and you can't run. So I had to go to gym class, and gosh, I feel like I just sat it out. When the class was doing things that caused my back to hurt, I think I just sat it out. And like I said, it's been half of my life ago that this happened, but that was hard mentally on me. It was embarrassing, not only to not do what I want to do, but to just kind of be there still and be pushed to the side. But uh, you know late middle school, early high school rolls around, and I became a gamer. I I lived off of like Doritos and Mountain Dew and fast food, and my hobbies went from sports to Halo and Magic the Gathering, and it was fun, uh, but it was not healthy. And I ballooned up to, I think my highest was 230 something pounds, and I'm 5'7", so my waist was like I was wearing like 42 inch pants, for the love of God. Oh, I'm down to 32 now, by the way. So it's crazy, but I'm 150 pounds now. So I've lost a good 80 pounds total in my life, and I've been 150 for the last decade. But not only have I struggled with that weight problem, but and I don't even know how this happened, but diet, and not so. And it's weird because in when I was gaining the weight, I don't feel like I don't remember ever struggling with food. I just ate food, never really thought about it. I struggled with depression, suicide ideation quite a bit, a little bit of self harm, but I feel like I met somebody online through Magic the Gathering during my freshman year of high school, and he became a pretty good friend. And he started, if I remember correctly, it's been a long time, he started lifting weights and working out. And so I started lifting weights and working out. I couldn't run. I have a distinct memory of myself trying to run. I lived out in the country on this gravel road, and I couldn't do it, and I ended up walking back home crying because I couldn't run and I was in pain. So physical therapy didn't help because they were doing this strength and stretching, and I just needed to lose some weight. So I started weightlifting because weightlifting was easy. I wasn't moving a lot to bench press, to do dumbbell curls. So I set up. My parents helped me get kind of a home gym going, and through that, and my mom helped a lot with my food. And I was the guy who ate chicken breast and steamed broccoli at lunch at school. And I lost. I probably I think when I went to college as a freshman, I was about 160 something pounds. So I lost quite a bit of weight. I started lifting weights, so I gained a lot of muscle mass, and I still have a lot of that. 10 years as a vegetarian vegan runner, I still got these giant legs and this scrawny upper body. You lose it or you use it or you lose it, and that's a clear case here if you look at my lower body versus my upper body. But where was I? Blah 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 tangents. But I don't ever really remember struggling with my diet when I was gaining or losing the weight. It was more like mental health, happiness. But once I was at a healthy weight, then for some reason I was pretty happy. I was I've been real happy. I haven't really had any depression problems as an adult. We'll say basically from college to now. Depression, happiness hasn't really been a problem, but I have, during college especially, I did a lot I don't know why, a lot of food. I had a lot of food problems, like binging, purging, where I remember one time, I don't know if this was during college or shortly after, but we were at a big family event for Christmas, and everybody brought food. It was basically like a potluck for Christmas, and I hated those types of family events because there's all this food and there's no real meal time. There's like, you snack, you eat, and then there's dessert. But you can go whenever you want, and you have free access to all this food. And I would literally snack and then eat until I was uncomfortable, until my stomach hurt. There were times when I would force myself to throw up. I would never eat and plan to throw up, but I would eat so much food that I would throw up because I was so uncomfortable and in so much pain. And I would purge. And I didn't do it that often. I don't know. Maybe like once every 2 months, maybe. I don't remember. It wasn't like I was doing it every 2 days or whatever. And I wasn't purging, or I wasn't binging all the time either. Maybe a few times a month, maybe. But it's weird to think about how I went from, having this weight problem and happiness issue to, once that was gone, it was a food issue. And, not to put down people with alcohol or drug problems, but, when you're addicted to food, you still need food. There's still a fridge full of food. If you're an alcoholic or a drug addict and you're trying to quit, or you have quit, you can not have you can go a month without drugs or alcohol in your home, in your life, but you can't go 4 hours without food. And there's it's just there all the time, and that's really hard. You can just not buy cigarettes. You can avoid being with people while they smoke, but you can't do that with food. And that's kind of a unique challenge that a food addiction has. But anyway, where was I? Just talking out of my mouth. But eventually, after college, it's when Desi, my wife, has helped a lot with mindfulness. It's funny how you think about what you've added to your spouse's life and what they've added to yours. And she's added a lot of meditation, mindfulness into my life, and now that's me. But I don't know if that would be me without her. But I can't imagine my life without mindfulness practice, gratitude practice, meditation. It's who I am. And I would hate to think about myself without Desi and without those things that she's brought into my life. But I feel like a big turning point in my relationship with food was when I developed this relationship with mindfulness. And the big thing that I really feel is the turning point was when I realized that I need to eat until, and it's okay to eat until you're satisfied, not until you're full. That was just incredibly life-changing to not only realize that, but put it into practice. And slowing my eating, drinking a cup of water before I eat to add something to my stomach, leaving a little bit of food on the plate. You don't have to eat all the food that's available. I mean, yeah, there are starving kids in Africa, but I don't need to finish all the food to feel good about myself, because I'm going to feel bad about myself. They're not getting those last 3 bites anyway. But if I eat those 3 bites, I'm going to regret it. And, it's about having empathy with your future self. It's, I could overeat, I could have these 2 brownies, but how am I going to feel in a half hour? In an hour, the next day? Just have 1 piece of cake, for the love of God. Put your fork down between bites. Take a sip of water between bites. I used to be a super fast eater, just, and I really slowed down how I eat. Desi still says that I eat fast. I just take breaks between bites. So whatever. It takes me longer to finish a meal. Yeah, but just eating until satisfied, not until full, was a game changer for me. And once in a while, it still happens where I think to myself, "Gosh, I ate I ate 2 bites too many." That's not bad, but it used to be where I would eat a full plate, a second serving too many. Um, and now I go, and as soon as I feel that little twinge in my head where it's like, oh, I think I'm full. I think I'm good. That's it. I'm done. That's the end of the meal for me. I might, sometimes what I do, if there's dessert or something that I haven't eaten yet, I might set a timer. And I literally do this. I set a timer for like 30 minutes. Or, if I'm not going anywhere, maybe an hour. When that goes off, then I can have dessert. But not before. And what I often do also is I will purposely be one of the last people to go get their meal if it's a buffet or something, or if I'm one of the earlier people to get their meal, I will wait to start eating until everybody at the table has their food and has begun eating. So that way, I'm not done with my meal and everybody else still has half their food left. So I'm not sitting there with an empty plate, but I'm done, but everybody else is eating. So these tricks, eating until satisfied, not until full, being okay with not being full after a meal, being mindful about the speed that I eat, has all these things. At first they were hard, but now it's just what I do. It's normal. It doesn't take any effort, and I know that doing these things will drastically improve my life, my happiness, my well-being. No longer now do I eat so much at dinner that I can't sleep because my stomach hurts because I ate too much. Yes, that's a thing that used to happen. So I don't know where I was going with this, but that's kind of my story with how I've dealt with and overcome, a little bit of mental problems, but also food dietary problems. And now I feel like I've kind of I feel good. Like I feel good about my body, my weight, my diet, my nutrition, how I eat, my daily habits, just with basically everything. Like I feel good about me. And that's a good feeling. And I don't, I wonder if I look back upon now, in 5 or 10 years, I wonder if I'm going to feel even better, because the better it gets, the better it gets. So just keep moving forward. Somebody once, I don't know how I was asked this, but the question was, what would you tell yourself, 10, 15 years ago, whatever? What would you tell yourself if you had the option, the ability to do that? And I would tell myself that it's gonna be awesome. Like my life right now is fracking awesome. I make pretty good money. I make good money as an online running coach. My wife, when I was, I just graduated, didn't know what to do with my life. I worked at freaking Walmart because we moved and that was the only place hiring. I hated my life. I hated having to go to Walmart every day to work. She said, what would you do if you won the lottery and you never had to work again in your life? What would you do for fun? And then figure out how to get paid to do that. And here I am now, helping people all over the world do something that brings them joy, helping them do it better, being a support for runners, and not only a running support, but like for some people, like this lady who brought this video topic up, for her, running is an integral part of her life, to help her deal with anxiety and mental health. And I help her do it better. I help people not only just run, but be happier, be stronger, be healthier, work towards goals, have a little purpose with this hobby. And my wife's a teacher, so she has the summers off. So we're able to basically live in other cities or countries during the summer, and I still work. And life is good. And that's what I would tell myself. I would tell myself 10 years ago that just keep going forward, because it's going to get better. And I hope that if I were to ask myself this question in 10 years, and if I were able to come back to today, I hope I could tell myself the same thing, that just keep moving forward, keep doing your best, because it's going to get better. And I think it's pretty good now, but I hope in 10 years and 20 years that it just keeps getting better, because the better it gets, the better it gets. So that's my story. If you ever want to chat about anything like this one-on-one, feel free to hit me up. I'm always here to talk. I love one of the things I love about my job and my life is that I get to interact with people all over the world, and I love a good video chat. So feel free to hit me up anytime. And as always, you keep running, I'll keep coaching.